Okay, did you enjoy all that math from procedure 1.5? Sorry, 1.4. I said it was going to be pretty short, but you have to do all those calculations to get to the mean and the median and the mode, and then you'll still have to figure out the, what else? Did they have the, yeah, standard deviation, standard error, and variance for that one? That takes a while, doesn't it? So good job getting that done. Now you're going to take a step farther and you are going to graph the distribution chart on your own. So for this one, this is procedure 1.5, and you are looking at the number of mosquitoes that people counted in tree hole cavities. So they basically go to a tree hole cavity, count all the mosquitoes, and record it in figure 1.3. That must be a fun job, right? Getting to count mosquitoes. So you can see the first time they went out, they caught 68, the second time 24, and so on. So it's just a count of mosquitoes over time. And then they have already placed that data into data classes for you, and that's what you're looking at here. So there were 36 times when they went out and they counted between 0 and 10 mosquitoes. There were 25 times when they counted between 11 and 20 mosquitoes. There were 17 times they went out and counted between 21 and 30 mosquitoes. And so they've done that work for you. So this is the data that you're going to graph on the top of page 6. At the top of figure 1.3, you're going to take this data and graph it. You can see they already have the data class on the x-axis. So you're just going to input this information there. Okay, so it's going to be a bar graph. It's going to look just like the graph in figure 1.2, except that it'll be with this data instead of that data. Okay, and then you are going to look at if the data is normally distributed and how many values were greater or lesser than the mean. And so I want to show you an easier way to do this math. Now that you've kind of done it the hard way, maybe you figured out how to do it this way before. I'm going to share my screen for a second. And we need to go to this one. Okay. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Okay, so on this screen, what I have done is I've taken the raw data here. You can see that 6824 that I was just mentioning, and all of that is recorded in this first column, all the way down. So there's 108 of them, because I didn't start right at number 1. And then I let Excel do the math for me. So here's a little math lesson for you, or an Excel lesson rather. So if you type in this at the bottom of that column, if you type in equals average, open parentheses, and then A2 is the cell at the top of this column where the first data point is, and then the 2 little dots for a semicolon, and then A109, which is the last point down here, and then close the parentheses, it figures it out for you. Okay, so I'll show you how that works. So in this box right here, equals average, parentheses, A2, because that's the first one, semicolon, through A109, close parentheses, and hit enter. It figures it out for you. So all that math is done, and you don't have to go through 109 and add them up, and then, or 108 of them, and then add them up and divide by 108. It does that for you. So then that makes it very easy to figure out the median, because I have them all in order if I want to. So I'll show you how I put them in order. So this one I wanted to leave plain, so I didn't put that one in order. But all I did was I copied this And you can right click on it and say copy. And I just want to make sure I don't have anything in that row. Yeah, that's good. And I'm just going to paste it in this one. So I put my cursor here and right click and go to paste. And I just want to paste the text. There it goes. Okay, so then now I have it in this column so I can sort it. I'm just going to highlight all of those data points. Okay, I'm going to stop there. It just copied the whole thing. I don't need that stuff at the end. But anyway, I'm going to highlight all of those data points, all 108 of them. And then I'm going to go up here. I go to home. I need the sort, this sort and filter right here. I'm going to hit that button. And I want it to sort from smallest to largest. And it's going to ask me, do you want to expand the selection, which means it's going to sort all of everything that's on there. I don't want it to do that. I just want it to do only what I selected. So I'm going to select continue with the current selection. And I'm going to hit sort. And then it sorts it for me. Okay. So from that, I was able to determine that 17, I'm going to take this column out now because I just did that next door. You can see what I did. Whoops. I'm just going to the contents. Okay, so I can see that if there's 108, this 17 was right in the middle. So there are 53 above this and 53 values below this. So I can very quickly see that 17 is my median. Okay, that's how I figured out the median. That was right here. So I took away my words. And this will be the mode. So for the mode, that's when you can look at this list and see what was the most common. And I found that there were 5 number 5s. So 5 becomes my mode. Okay, so that's how I figured out those 3 very quickly just by sorting it and using Excel to do the work for me. Okay, so anyway, you can also use Excel to help you figure out the down here, the sum of square deviations. Okay, so this column was the raw data, and column C, that was the raw data. Column D is my mean. You can see it over here. Okay, and then this column is my difference between the raw data and the mean. Okay, the deviation. And then this F column was my squared deviation, where I just took this value and squared it. And by the way, you can see I have equations for this too. If you can see this up here, if I click on column E, it says equals C109, which is this 99 value here, minus D109, this one, and it just gives the value. Okay, and then in F, I have equals E109, which was what I just figured out. And then this little caret here that means up, and the 2 means square it. So it squared it for me as well. So I'm going to show you how fast I can do all of that. I'm going to take this whole column and just create a whole new tab so you can watch this from scratch. So there's my raw data all sorted for me. Okay, and I go back and grab that. Mean was 23.9. Sorry, this one. Okay, so my mean is 23.9. So I'm going to type in 23.9. Whoops. And I'm just going to copy that. And what I usually do is copy like 4 of them. And then just copy and keep copying and pasting that until it gets longer and longer. Now I've got a whole chunk of them. And I'm going to copy and paste that. It's so much faster than trying to do this by hand. Incredibly faster. I don't know how anybody would do it without it. Okay, so now remember my next step is to find the difference. So I'm going to type in this equation. I'm going to type in equals, and I'm just going to click on A1 if I want to, or I can type in A1, but A1, I'm going to type in a minus, and then click on B1 and hit enter. Okay, and it figured it out. Now if you click on that and then grab this little square right here and drag it down, it figures it all out. And I always like to double check. But see, this is showing me up in this little box here that it's taking A108 minus B108, so I have a correct answer. All right, now I'm going to go back up to the top, and now I need to square that. So now I'm going to say equals this. I'm going to click on it, and the caret is right above the number 6. So I hit that, shift and the number 6, and then a 2 because I want to square it. I hit enter. And there, it just squared that for me, and I can also drag this down. And all of those are figured out. Okay, so now I have my squared deviations, but I need to take the sum of them. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see this now. Okay. I'll go a little bigger this way too. All right, so now I need to figure out my sum of the squared deviations. And if you go up here where it says auto sum, I'm going to click that, and it'll say, is this what you want to auto sum? And all you have to do is hit enter because it was the correct amount. So this is my sum of squared deviations. Okay. And then I need to divide it by n minus 1. Remember that? So I can do that in the equation also. Equals, I'm going to click on this value, divided by, just do